From his earliest days, Richard Mangino has had a true passion for music. He took a familiar path while growing up in East Boston. He got married to his dear Carol. They had 3 children, and for 37 years, Richard worked at Logan Airport as a ground crew director. The music lived on in his family, but in July 2002, the tune suddenly changed. Richard had developed sepsis, and the infection in his blood was ravaging his body.
I had never heard about sepsis or a kidney stone doing this much damage, and they said, you know, his fingers might start to slough off. And I'm saying, slough off.
To escape death, Richard made the difficult decision to allow doctors to amputate his 4 limbs. Richard was suddenly a quadruple amputee. Richard's indomitable spirit drove him to want to lead as close to a normal life as possible. He learned how to put his glasses on.
That's it. No, that's something you say, wow, well, that's easy. You have to figure that out.
He drove a car. He painted. And of course, he maintained his true passion for music.
I go forward enjoying life so that those around me, those who cared for me and loved me, can live their life, not having to live mine.
Somehow, Richard always managed to find a way around the challenges of his new life, with a smile on his face and a ready laugh.
You do. New England winter.
When Richard heard they were performing hand transplants at Brigham and Women's Hospital, he was determined to get new hands. But at age 65, Richard was beyond the allowable age range for the research protocol. Richard's unwavering courage and determination to succeed so impressed the doctors at Brigham and Women's Hospital that they made an exception.
My wife and I cried. We went up because she was at the I was supposed to go to the hospital to visit my mother, and she was there. And when I walked into the reception area, the girl said, "Your wife just went upstairs," and I says, "My wife? What's she doing upstairs?" I got in the elevator and started crying. When I got off the elevator, she was crying, my mother was crying, everybody was crying. Because we knew this was it.
Richard knew he would receive the best possible care. Brigham and Women's Hospital had previously performed 4 face transplants, including the nation's first full face transplant. The surgical team had spent months going over every detail of his complex case. In October 2011, with his charming exuberance on full display, Richard Mangino was wheeled into an operating room at Brigham and Women's Hospital.
The operation lasted 12 hours and involved more than 40 people, including 14 plastic and orthopedic surgeons.
What we performed was, in fact, bilateral mid-forearm transplants. This surgery takes 4 teams working simultaneously. A V-shaped incision is used to accommodate the swelling and to prevent scar contracture. Next, you'll see that the bones are joined with metal plates and screws. And next, the muscle, tendons, arteries, veins, and 3 major nerves of the forearm are joined.
Regardless whether it is face or hand, we now know that the brain rewires and regains control over the transplant, considering it its own part. What we're learning through this process will likely have far-reaching effects on transplantation as a field, but will also expand our understanding of brain function, nerve, and other tissue regeneration.
And for the surgical team, there was a defining moment.
I also want to draw your attention to one very special photograph. It shows the moment of reperfusion of the left hand. After connecting the arterial system, you can see blood bringing this hand back to life.
And in that moment, Richard Mangino received 2 new hands and a whole new life.
Another incredible medical procedure in Boston.
News Center 5 has learned exclusively doctors at Brigham and Women's Hospital have done their first successful double hand transplant.
Tonight, a Revere man is the first person in Boston to receive a double hand transplant.
Recovery will include months of therapy, but doctors say so far everything looks A-OK.
A chance at a new life. to live, you know, and to, you know, to hold my grandchildren, to hold my wife and my children, to do things, you know, as most people will do. I don't have to perform miracles anymore. I can just be a regular person.
But Mr. Mangino came to us with a dream. To once again have arms, to have hands, to sense touch. And this team of pioneers has done everything possible to help Mr. Mangino achieve this dream.
For Richard's dream to come true, it unfortunately meant that another family had to incur heartache. Richard has had the chance to deliver his gratitude to the wife of his donor. Being a regular person, a regular husband, father, grandfather, is the fulfillment of Richard Mangino's dream.
I can hug him, I hold him. It's nicer now because I can say, hold my hand when we cross the street instead of hold my hook. And it's a lot better.
He also remains as playful as ever and knows one thing for sure.
It's not a miracle. So many people say it's not a miracle. Absolutely not a miracle. These people work very hard. You know what they do in healing, in the transplant operation. That's really intelligent people. You know, they work very hard at what they did.
The journey will continue with many more months of occupational and physical therapy. Every day finds Richard taking a step forward, and for every step he takes, so too does Brigham and Women's Hospital.
This latest milestone reflects the commitment and dedication of Brigham and Women's Hospital to continue to expand the boundaries of what is possible in transplantation.
Well, I feel the future is now. I live for today and plan for tomorrow. So every day is the future. I'll plan for tomorrow, but I'm living for today.
This gallant man rolls on. His passion for life and for music lives on.
In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands.